There are two types of watches that have been dominating the affordable watch scene on YouTube recently. NH34 powered GMTs, of course, and all stainless steel sports watches with integrated bracelets. They are everywhere. And it's not a bad thing necessarily. Understandably, watch brands follow trends, and these are the watches that seem to be trendy at the moment. So unsurprisingly, I've got one of those two to show you in today's video. It is an all stainless steel watch with an integrated bracelet. Makydo is the brand. Simon from Watch the Time is responsible for this review. It was him that reached out to me and said, I've reviewed one of these Makydos recently. They're incredible value. You might want to check them out. So I did, and I've got what I thought was the best looking one, or the best watch out of their collection, in for review. Yeah, I like the colour of the dial on this one. I like the styling. Obviously shades of familiarity about this watch, but enough individuality to make it appealing perhaps to a few more people. Yeah, I like it. And it's powered by Miyota 9015. £300 for this watch. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I probably would have said, yeah, that's decent value for money. But now that I've taken a look at the build quality, the finishing, the specifications, and a Rolex, I'm starting to think it's even better value for money. I'm going to take a good close look at this watch in this video, and I think I might even include it in my next stainless steel finishing comparison video because, well, it fits, doesn't it? It works. It's an all stainless steel watch with a mix of brushed and polished finishing, and yeah, why not? Let's put it up against some other watches in a similar sort of ish price bracket. And funnily enough, I've been looking at Tudor watches recently. Oh, Tudor everywhere at the moment, so I just wanted to check them out, see what all the fuss is about, have a look at their website, watch a few videos. I was looking at the Black Bay 54, a fairly new small dive watch that they released a year ago, 18 months ago. The first video I watched, the person that had that watch in their hands had an example with an incredibly poorly aligned loom pip on the loom triangle at the 12 o'clock. I mean, it's finishing like that on watches that cost as much as that make watches like this just so much more appealing. And this is what I've been shouting about now for ages. It's why I tend to feature affordable, beautifully finished watches on my channel, because this is where the real value for money is if you're not just a true brand whore, which many of us are, of course. Nothing wrong with that to some degree, but there is a limit. And yeah, that loom pip is way beyond my limit. £3,500, I think, for that watch. Oy, oy, oy. Anyway, let's get back onto this pearl white mosaic dial. And they're calling it a mosaic dial. It's not a true mosaic dial. There's definitely some sort of mosaic sort of pattern on it, but it looks to be a sort of stamped dial, and beautifully done, seemingly. And yeah, Miyota 9015. So the thickness of this watch is sub 9mm. That's phenomenal, and that is the beauty of the 9000 series Miyota movement. If you're gonna put that movement inside a watch, and don't put it in a watch or a dive watch that's 14mm thick. Make the most of it. Put it in watches like this. That is where you're going to really see the benefits of that super slim, affordable, higher beat movement. Of course, it beats at 28,800 beats per hour. Hacks and hand winds. Yeah, cracking movement. And you can see it through the display caseback. Screw down caseback. Sadly, the crystal in the caseback is not sapphire crystal. It's mineral crystal. Sapphire sandwich would be nice, but it's always a bit of a bonus, I think. You do get sapphire on the front with AR coating. Flat sapphire, of course, making the most of the thickness of the movement and the thinness of the watch. Pull push crown, you've got the logo on the crown as well, and the caseback has some specifications on it. I mean, everything seems to be really nicely finished. The bracelet is beautiful. I really like these bracelets, and of course you're going to benefit from the butterfly clasp. You get that continuation of the bracelet all the way around your wrist, of course. That is why on watches like this you tend to see butterfly clasps. Sadly though, no half links. This is a grumble that I've had many times. Yeah, I mean, fantastic watch, but just missing half links. It's a real shame. Now, sadly, it's not the first time we have seen this, and manufacturers in the past have gone on to produce half links afterwards and offered them separately. I hope that is something they consider here, because I really do think watch fit is important. It's important to me, and I think this is the sort of issue that is enough to stop many people from wanting to take what they perceive as a bit of a gamble. Admittedly, these aren't the biggest links in the world, but I think they're big enough for people to be a little bit concerned about getting a decent fit. Real shame, real shame, because yeah, I mean, there really is very little wrong with this watch. I spent quite a bit of time interacting with it, playing with the crown, playing with the clasp. It's a sort of compression fit. There's no buttons, you just pull it and it opens up. I'm not wild about those, but actually the clicks are really crisp and it just feels really well engineered. The screw pins work beautifully. There's very little wrong with this watch. It does seem to be beautifully made. I'm just gutted that they haven't provided smaller links. Now, like a lot of watches in this particular style, they've given you a lot to look at, haven't they? There's a lot of polished facets on this bracelet. I suspect that was not a cheap bracelet to make. There's a lot of detail on the case as well. I love that beautifully brushed top surface on the bezel. You've got some polished facets as well. Lots going on the dial as well. You've got that sort of blocky mosaic pattern, and then there's more detail on those squares. Applied indexes at the hour markers. Nice hands, bit of lume, BGW9. I'll show you the lume degrading at the end of the video. Yeah, there's a lot to look at, and I do think it's a well-proportioned, good-looking watch. And it's perhaps a bit more original than a lot of the, well, other options out there, I think. So I can totally see why Simon was impressed with this watch enough to reach out to me and say, oi, you really need to check these out. So I guess I'm just passing that message on to you guys. Oi, you really need to check these out. I've got another watch from them, actually, a new one, a dive watch. It's an interesting one, actually. There's a couple of crowns. It's a compressor style diver, but there's a crown by the 9 and a crown by the 3. It's, yeah, a bit weird. Takes a bit of getting used to, but yeah, I'll show you that watching another video very soon, so look out for that. Guys, like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications icon, and yeah, just a massive thank you to everyone that's helped me get to over 100,000 subs. I do really appreciate it, and yeah, if you've got any questions, guys, let me know. As always, thanks for watching.